think of Oman, and you probably think camels, oil, and sand. But there's a bit more to it than that, especially if you like driving. The region we're in is Dhofar in the south of the Sultanate of Oman, and we're tracing a route east along the coast with the Arabian Sea. But if you think this is just a Pacific Coast Highway moved to the Middle East, think again.
That is a camel. That is the border with Yemen. And I don't really want to get much closer to either of them.
This, by the way, is the new Audi RS3 saloon, complete with gloriously vocal 5-cylinder engine. Audi was launching it to the world's media a few hours away in more salubrious surroundings, but with an inkling of the roads that lay a little further from the new touristy hotels, we felt some exploration was required.
This country is absolutely beautiful. It's nothing like what I expected either. It says it's 30 degrees on the temperature gauge here, but it feels even hotter than that. It's absolutely scalding. Camel, camel. You do have to watch out for camels wherever you go. They don't look very movable. Fascinating toes though.
Sweeping and switchbacking through the limestone mountains, Highway 47 is one of the best roads I've ever seen. So intense is the way that it scrabbles to gain altitude that one particularly spectacular section is actually known as the Furious Road.
Eat your heart out, Alduez. We've got hairpins galore here.
Heading along the high plateau, the clouds seem to rise and fall like a meteorological dance of the seven veils, shrouding and revealing the views across the mountains. What's odd though, is just how slippery it is.
It's really strange. The roads, they don't look that slippery. And then you think, well, it must be dust or sand on them, but you get out and it's just polished surface. Bizarre. Good fun though. Like all the best drives, the landscape just keeps on changing over and over, holding your interest all the time.
Out there to the north is the famous Empty Quarter. We're hardly Lawrence or Thesiger, but Dhofar itself is pretty empty with just 250,000 people in its 100,000 square kilometres. Heading down from the mountains, attention turns to the turquoise Arabian Sea, which seems to be the perfect place to try, well, this.
I have a wonderful electronic invention I want you to see. It looks so good.
With a sound like a rally car at a stage start, launch control hurls the RS3 down the road, reaching 60 miles an hour in 2 gear changes in just 4 seconds. Not bad for the baby of the Audi sport range. We go through various areas of habitation on our route, some small with just a handful of buildings, others larger, like Salalah, which is the 3rd largest city in Oman, which has huge mosques. Then it's up into the Jebel once more.
I know this Viper Green stands out wonderfully now, but in a few months' time, it'll actually be camouflage. After the monsoons, everything here comes into leaf, and it looks, well, even more unexpected. The new RS3 has got 394 brake horsepower, 354 pounds-foot of torque, which makes it nicely rapid. And the important thing is how those numbers are made. The 5-cylinder engine is wonderfully characterful. A 0 to 62 mile an hour time of 4.1 seconds makes it faster than both CLA 45 AMG and BMW's M2. The RS3's 5-cylinder engine has lost 26 kilos through a new aluminium block, hollow crank and various other smaller measures. The main benefits to that, nothing to do with power output, they're all to do with the handling.
Get the transition right and you can even get the RS3 to power oversteer on the exit of corners.
The old RS3 was somewhat flat-footed really, just wanting to push on all the time. The new RS3, at least in saloon form, well, you can kind of tip it into a corner and go sideways. It's got a really nice balance to it. Of course, it's not all just hairpins. Once you've climbed up into the mountains or onto the plateau, you get these amazing quick roads that just go on and on and on into the distance. Do you want to know the firing order of an Audi 5-cylinder? I'm going to tell you, 1, 2, 4, 5, 3. It's enriched your life, isn't it? Cows, not camels. Huh. Variety.
Oh, and the reason for heading back into the mountains? This view.
For somebody that thought Oman was predominantly flat and made of sand, you couldn't have a much more vivid refutation than this. This is Jabal Saman, and we're 4,000 feet above sea level, all the way down there. It's just spectacular. This might seem like the end of the road. I mean, let's face it, Thelma and Louise would love it, but there's one more place I want to go, all the way down there to Mirbat.
Driving back down from the Dhofar Mountains, I'm certain that this RS3 is the best there has ever been. Its newfound adjustability means it now finally has a chassis that lives up to the engine and the promise of that RS badge. A chassis that's worthy of these roads. And why did I want to end this journey in Mirbat? Well, it might seem unlikely, but in the early 1970s, this was actually the scene of one of the greatest victories in British military history. Early one morning in July 1972, just 9 men from the SAS held off a force of hundreds of rebels that swept down from the mountains. 2 of those SAS men would give up their lives in the defence of this town, but their remarkable resistance at Mirbat was key in the eventual demise of the rebellion, and therefore in the growth of Oman into the country that it is today. Knowing that, and standing here, it feels even more of a privilege to have been able to drive these slippery, sinuous, and above all spectacular roads on the edge of the Arabian Sea.